Hello one, hello all. I'm not really sure how to start this stream because I don't know what we're doing beyond the big picture of playing more the Somnium files. Hello one, hello all. I am as ever Mitsuda Madoy, your friendly neighborhood forensic scientist. Assuming your neighborhood is located in a world where people are murdered in locked rooms twice a day. And today we're going to be doing something quite interesting indeed, For those of you who've been following along with the whole playthrough thus far, we've got 2 endings under our belt already, and in both of them, we were left with one particularly large unanswered question. Iris Sagan, aka A-Set, aka Tessa. Now, in both of the endings we've seen thus far, we saw something very suspicious out of her. Then she got one of her eyes gouged out. And we have no freaking idea what that means. The case against her is so strong, like so logically rigorous, so lacking in any possible alternative explanation, I almost do want to believe she's the culprit. And yet Sejima. But whatever the case may be, tonight we're going to go back into her Somnium and take our alternative routes. So let's do that. If you all will recall, Iris' Somnium was probably the weirdest one we've seen all game. It didn't seem to map cleanly onto anything about her life, any thoughts she had as far as we saw. It did deeply suggest that there was something real fucky going on in her headspace. I'll let this play through again, because you,
What is this place?
Where am I, Luigi?
It looks depressing. How is this related to Iris?
That really is the question, isn't it, Tate?
Iris, what are you hiding?
Alright, so if you all recall, last time we went... Don't interrupt me. Last time we went through here, we cleared everything by smashing all of the TVs, which had images like children's crayon drawings of animals on them, and destroying them turned everything into, you know, creepy serial killer drawings of dead animals, which, again, very suspicious. But what secrets will we uncover if we take the alternative route? Whatever in God's name that might be. Alright, last time we interacted with the TVs, what else do we have? Looks like the TV is all we've got, really. Unless there's something through the door.
A double door.
As a general rule, doors don't really do us anything for us, but, take a stab at it. 10 seconds now to loosen things up later. Goddamn, how many times do I have to go over this with you? Your shoulder's gonna give out before the door. You wanna open a locked door, you don't have any tools on you, you kick the area directly under the doorknob. That's the bit where it's supposed to open from, that's where it's got the most give.
Stop that! You're not helping!
Thank you, Iva. God, at least somebody respects me.
A double door.
Yes, it is. Curious how much we even, yeah. Literally 0 seconds. No, we don't. Save it for when it'll matter.
It doesn't open. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I tried. Alright.
A CRT TV.
A proud member of the CRT TV community. I'm not sure I remember which of these it is. Do we look at blood? Well, that's certainly different. So the Blue Man Group. Give me a minute, I'm thinking. Give me a minute, I'm thinking. Anyway, as I was saying, so the Blue Man Group finally went bad. And the person they attacked looked an awful lot like Iris's mother. And there was a red person in the background watching it. Is the blue person in this image the same person as the blue person we saw making out with... what was his name? Sejima in the other route? Or is that just a generic culprit silhouette? If it's the case, it's getting increasingly obvious that Sejima and Iris are both sitting at the center of this case. Oh, what a surprise, a politician being a shitty person.
It is difficult to believe, but these are the faces of the victims of the original Cyclops killer.
It wasn't? I see. I don't appreciate the way the soundtrack is yelling at me, though. That is giving me a lot of anxiety. I'd appreciate it if you calmed your tits, my child.
What? What is going on here? Iris, what are you hiding?
I mean, Iris is physically not old enough to have been the original Cyclops killer, or... I don't think she should even, know anything about it firsthand.
There are more objects to inspect now.
Okay, we're on the other route. See, I was right. So, the murder video. That's what we're calling it now. Alright. Path B, strangle it. There's a torso, there's a mirror. Well, the game is giving us some pretty clear directions this go around.
A torso with a head.
If it has a head, is it still called a torso?
Good question.
What would you call it?
Top 10 questions scientists still can't explain. Yeah, that's what I thought, Date. In my head, this is the face Date makes all the time. Just sitting there going, dude. And they're forcing us to take our time, alright. Can I play it like that? I'm down. That ought to learn ya. The head turns red as blood unable to leave the head congeals and congests.
Even my consciousness is being affected.
It's probably not good.
While I was unconscious, the room changed.
I'm sure this totally untested technology is
We have no choice.
perfectly safe. Alright, we're making good time at least. Alright, what's next? Beat it to death, a perfectly respectable way of killing. Okay, but who's the it in this equation? The TV over there. Doesn't look like we can interact with any of the... of things in here, unless maybe we want to use the operating table.
An operating table.
Oh yes, it is. Taking the bottle of
A
medicine.
drug bottle that holds some kind of liquid.
Can we investigate it, maybe?
There is no label. I cannot determine what is inside.
You could.
It's probably dangerous.
I agree. We should not touch it if we do not know what it is.
You're not
in
even...
Somnium, some things should not be done.
Oh. Not gonna tell me why? TV over there.
An old television.
Maybe the body will be on the boob tube. Who can say? Alright, there's the formula. We look at the victims. Alright, that bottle of medicine is our weapon. I was on the right track at least.
That video showed the face of a victim of the original Cyclops killer.
Twice now we've seen that red guy standing in the background. Was there an accomplice? I can't imagine there would be witnesses if the case went unsolved for long enough for the guy to claim more than one victim.
It appeared to be the second victim.
What is going on? Iris has something to do with the first Cyclops case?
That appears to be the only possible answer, and yet it doesn't really track. For reasons I hope are obvious.
Unknown. I do not have enough information.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Indeed.
Alright.
Oil drum, shelf, and another torso have been added.
Not sure what the oil drum is for. What's this bottle made out of exactly?
Holds some kind.
Pick it up. Can we just go over to the torso again?
A torso similar to a fashion mannequin.
Man, I just read, some of you in chat will already know this, but I've already reread, the Tokyo Zodiac Murders by Soji Shimada recently. And now I have mannequin-related PTSD. Let's turn this shit down. Yeah! That'll learn ya.
I didn't get hit, did I?
You know, that could kill someone, but it doesn't really look like it.
There is no effect
You know?
on your body, Date.
Does Date even have a body, really? I mean, probably. Honestly, knowing this series, or, well, knowing... I shouldn't say this series, I've never played anything, but knowing the works of Kotaro Uchikoshi...
Soul hard enough.
Date, you have no soul.
While you were unconscious, a television and an old book appeared.
Alright,
I want to get off this ride.
I want to get off Miss Sound's wild
If
ride.
my calculations are correct, it will be over soon.
Can't believe you actually just said if my calculations are correct. According to my research,
Let's hope you're right.
Miss Frizzle is going to just make a bunch of fish jizz all over us. That was a weird fucking episode, my god. I'm not gonna ask if anyone else remembers that, because I know for a fact it happened.
Old-fashioned TV.
Not the fish jizz meat, so... Oh, hey Nana, you're back. Alright. 4 million channels and nothing to watch except...
Please. Help me. Help me.
The fact that the culprit had a gun
This was the third victim of the original Cyclops killer.
in a game originally set in Japan, that could suggest some connections, but... I mean, I've read enough Detective Conan cases where just random nobodies had guns that I don't know what to think of. We do know that the Yakuza and politicians are both in this game in some capacity, though, so I'm going to assume I'm right about this.
Why does Iris know that?
There is a possibility that she saw it online or on TV.
But we've been referring to the Cyclops killer as a singular this whole time, so I doubt she'd have any reason to believe there was an accomplice unless she knew something special. I'm still operating to the assumption that the red guy in the background was an accomplice.
She even reproduced the circumstances of the killing. Would her imagination explain that?
Date, we have no direct evidence. For now, we must continue investigating.
Yeah, me too, weirdo background singer. Me too.
3 minutes, Date.
Alright, I'm not gonna need it. Alas, poor mannequin. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of most excellent wit, of most indefinite look at this book. Yeah, time to burn, we can noodle around.
It has not been well preserved. Most of the ink has faded.
Well, that's exciting.
Can you tell what kind of book it is?
It is probably a book on... insects! It's a book on insects!
His face is going to haunt my nightmares.
Don't get excited. I know how you love bugs.
Don't do that.
Does this book belong to Iris?
Hi, Akimoto. Welcome to the stream.
I didn't know she liked insects, and to read the book so often that it wears out.
Well, we can't prove it's Iris's.
Considering everything else we've seen in this Somnium, I'm kinda starting to think it's liking bugs in the sense of liking and pinning them to the wall.
True. We cannot conclude anything. A drug bottle that holds some kind of liquid.
Go, 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 go!
Do not pressure me, Date.
Oh, come on, all the cool kids are doing it.
Pressure you?
Into drinking alcohol.
Is it alcohol?
Well, no.
If it's not alcohol, it's not peer pressure, them's the
This is
rules.
for an investigation. I'm ordering you to drink it.
You are exploiting your position of power. I will set up a labor union.
Are there enough AIs out there to form a union?
An AI labor union? Sounds dystopian.
Hey, nothing about unions is ever dystopian. Unionize a workplace, children! Don't wind up like me.
I won't drink it.
Fine.
Don't do drugs, kids. Right now, where's our fella? Locker? Maybe it's in the locker. No, there's a gun over there. We should probably grab that before anything else. The question is where that is. There it is, it's up on the ceiling. How'd you get up there, champ?
Is it real?
Alright, in this house we obey the laws of physics, young man. Get down from there. I don't need to look, I know what we're doing.
Shonen?
Don't say it.
Good job, Date. Now you just ruined all her dreams. Akimoto has redeemed. Hydrate redeem. Thank you very much. That drink made me think. What do you? This is a total non sequitur. What do you think it feels like to drink a health potion in an RPG? Like, you gotta imagine just having a sword wound or a burn spontaneously just seal up would be. Ow, why? Why, God? I have a question for God. Why? Anyway.
I did the best I could. I am not a cyborg, and thus I cannot reach that height. This is not my fault.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you were, like, literally chest level with it.
Nobody's blaming you.
Alright. Something in the locker.
Just a locker.
The locker's lock is locked. Alright, problem solved.
Iba?
It's all right. More importantly,
And of all the times I made it forget how the mousetrap jingle goes. Dun 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 dun. Alright, game. I think we'll see where we're going with this. You can pick up the pace a little if you'd so prefer. I wouldn't complain. Oh, God damn it. I see. Somewhere a very tiny Indiana Jones is running along that track. Nobody messes with the boulder. Boink. Okay. Did I do?
that is.
That's concerning. And that seems like an appropriate place to end off on 108. 108, for those of you who don't know, is the number of sins or temptations a human faces in Buddhist cosmology, according to Buddhist cosmology. It comes up occasionally. It's the number of issues Death Note had. I mean, you add an extra 0 in there, it's the number of issues Fullmetal Alchemist had. It's a Japanese thing.
What happened in that Somnium?
Good question.
We saw it too.
The 4 murdered women are without a doubt the victims of the original Cyclops serial killings.
So the original Cyclops killer only went after women. That is another change. There's that, and there's the handedness. Or at least the eye removed. I'm kind of just blindly guessing that that's a handedness thing.
That means...
The murders that occurred 6 years ago.
Very creative with his causes of death, didn't he? I mean, not really, but he changed them. That's
These
something.
memory fragments that coalesced in this Somnium.
Bonk.
No. That means the person who killed them was...
Man. It's like looking in a mirror. Time for me to say for you a good game. Okay, bye, LQ. Thank you for showing up. Well, okay, it can't possibly be this simple. If it were, they wouldn't have saved this until... They would, rather, have saved this until the true ending. What does the imagery mean? Alright, who's playing Galaga? Different strings of characters and numbers continue to scroll on the monitor. Pewter, you're my least favorite character. What do you have to say? I mean, I suppose we should start with the most important bit.
The Sinker does not always experience the Somnium they expect. Dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones.
That time in your dream you lost all your teeth, that was a memory. That time in your dream you killed a person, that was also a memory.
When using the sync machine for an investigation, we don't always see the memories we expect to see.
It's actually a very slapdash insecure method of investigation. I'm not sure why we place so much faith in it.
True, oftentimes a subject will subconsciously want to express their dark secrets and repressed memories.
Yeah. We don't want to keep it a secret. What, you think it's a secret or something? That's dumb. You're dumb. Stop being dumb.
That is why we see them so often in Somnia.
Yeah, Doug, I know all about insomnia. What does this have to do with the crimes?
And why those Somnia are so useful for criminal investigations. But this is not a guarantee. We cannot control the content of our dreams, after all.
What if you synced with someone who could? That's a thing. Curiouser and curiouser. This raises more questions than it answers.
It's like I told you, dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder. I
This
totally
can be
forgot.
expressed as an equation.
Oh man. I'm afraid we're going to need to use... math. Oh no! Dramatic lightning flashes, dramatic lightning flashes, dramatic lightning flashes.
Dream D equals memory A plus memory B plus memory C.
Oh, that explains everything, thank you.
This, of course, means that Dream D is a fictional event.
I mean, perfectly logical. I just really need to go to bed. Yeah, do that. I'm not stopping you. Okay, I'm finally home. What have I missed? I haven't been able to watch it by whose attention. So... don't apologize, AQ. Your health is more important than my numbers. Anyway, so, Nana... we saw memories in Iris's Somnium of all 4 of the original Cyclops serial killings being played out, with, curiously enough, a red figure standing in the background, which, given that they aren't doing anything, I chose to interpret as an accomplice. And at the end, we saw a bunch of glass shards fall to the ground, and when we looked, we could see the reflection of the mysterious silhouette culprits. And they had the same face as Kaname Date. Bum bum bum. So right now we're just trying to puzzle out the implications of all that.
However, the same cannot necessarily be said about memory A, B, and C. Those happened in reality. In other words, fiction is built from combinations of reality.
Okay, Pewter appears to be a follower of the Rohan Kishibe school of... writing? What if Date was the killer before he lost his memory? That seems like the most obvious conclusion. Which is why I'm questioning it. If Dottie was the killer, then I feel like that's the sort of thing they would have saved. Like, that raises way more questions than it answers. No, that's not necessarily true. Dottie's an amnesiac, so he could be damn near
I saw in
anything.
Somnium earlier.
But you know, there's a limit to how quickly you can expose the protagonist is secretly the killer trope. Now, earlier we did hear Tsushima call himself Date's father. That would explain how he was able to get his mitts on a gun in front of the killings. It makes sense, and yet it doesn't.
Yes, I believe Iris actually witnessed those events.
All 4 of them. Are all memories real? It would explain why Boss won't tell Date about the killings. Yeah, it would.
Pewter, you said that memories happen in reality, right? But what about false memories?
Can memories be real if our eyes aren't real? Think about it, won't you? Thank you.
How do we know if the memory really happened?
Even false memories are built from the pieces of real ones.
I feel obligated to point out for any, like, aspiring neurologists in the audience, this is not how it works in reality. People just come up with false memories out of whole cloth all the time.
If you disassemble those pieces, you will find real events.
I mean, I guess you could argue he's saying something like... what I'm thinking, like... Oh, if you have a false memory, it's because someone told you that, like, thing X happened and thought about it so hard, but, like, that's not it. It's not the same thing, Pewter.
What about things you see in movies or television?
The events might be fictional, but the experience is not.
We're pushing this very hard, my dude.
Our imaginations are limited to what we have seen. We cannot invent something whole cloth.
That time Yoshitaka Amano created Bahamut for Final Fantasy, that was something he saw in real life. Alright. I mean, he may be like... The way he's dressed, he looks like a Pokemon villain. And you know, rambling about the nature of reality also sounds like a very Pokemon-style thing. I should not trust someone wearing that coat, that's all I'm saying. Alright, let's go in chronological order. Can you tell me about the original case now?
Remember what the boss said this morning.
It wasn't this morning from my perspective.
The original Cyclops killer has yet to be brought to justice. After the investigation got going, it was taken over by the government and classified.
That seems suspicious. You witnessed a murder, you didn't see the culprit very well, but you did see a suspicious-looking man earlier that day. Even if that suspicious man was the killer, or even near the crime, your brain filled in the spaces. It could be something like that. Like, what you're talking about is a possibility, realistically not, huh? But I don't know if the game would give... Like, if Uchikoshi as a writer would be satisfied with something like that. It just seems... like a bit of a stretch to me. I don't know what wouldn't feel like a stretch at this point. Of course, if your version of events is correct, that would imply that Date was present at the crime, but not the culprit, but he wasn't a cop at that point, so what was he doing? Anyway, the government getting involved would certainly suspect good old Sejima.
That was the last we heard anything about it.
You know, that guy who did try to kill us at least once.
Of course, they paid lip service to the idea that the investigation was ongoing.
Tad have been forced to watch. I don't know. I don't know.
But in reality, it was dropped completely.
Surprised you have the connections to know this.
I don't believe there's any meaningful connection. Between the original and new Cyclops serial killings, I mean.
Oh, so it's that sort of reboot. Man, don't you just hate it when the copycats don't respect the original's deep artistic vision? So disrespectful.
Why is that?
The culprit is not the same. I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes.
And why is that?
How can you be so sure?
Because I can. Don't worry about it. Just trust me.
Well, damn. He sure does make a compelling argument. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. Because I can't. What are you, my mother? Alright. Implications of an accomplice. Is
In
that the
Somnium
interpretation?
I saw someone else who might be the criminal. Who was he?
You know, if those two mysterious criminal silhouettes fused together, they could assume the form of Pepsi Man. Uchikoshi's first and greatest hero. Wait. Motte? I have a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Is Sans Undertale really Steven Universe? What is your theory, Nana?
I wouldn't know.
What if Date was the original killer and Boss and Pewter were the accomplices? Because... given that there's only one silhouette here, I don't think there's more than one accomplice, but... I don't think that particularly pokes that many holes in your theory. They needed to kill those girls to use their brains to create the Somnium scanner. I mean, the fact that the girl we're looking at right now was shot in the face would certainly cast doubt on that part of the theory. I mean, I guess looking at it, it does look like he's aiming a bit, like, low towards her mouth, so, like... maybe, but... I don't know, the brain's a lot bigger than people give people credit for. Well, I mean, mine is, I don't know about you all. Somnium skin. Is that what it's called? I'm actually not sure, like, off the top of my head, what the sync machine is called. Is it the scanner? Is it the sync machine? That's just the first thought that bubbled up to my head. Pewter looks like his usual self, totally unconcerned by attaining evidence that I myself am a murderer. Boss.
You can't dream of something you know nothing about.
Yeah, no, that doesn't stop a lot of people.
That means Iris must know about the killings.
That last victim, the one who was stabbed, survived a very long time for someone who was stabbed multiple times in the neck. Like, I'm just saying.
6 years ago, Iris was 12.
Alright, it's been 6 years. It's not as long as I thought, but still.
Did she witness the crime at age 12?
Could a single person have witnessed all 4 crimes and not been involved? Doesn't strike me as particularly plausible.
And not just one, but all four?
Yeah, that's what I said. Thank you, Date. Thank you, Date. Very cool. Let's talk about the original.
The Cyclops killer appeared 6 years ago.
The new Cyclops killer is a bit like new Coke in that nobody seems to appreciate it anymore. Even though it seemed so important at the time.
I lost my memory 6 years ago. There has to be some kind of connection.
There isn't. It's a coincidence.
Don't make that face while you talk about my suspicions of being a serial killer. That seems quite disrespectful.
Really?
Really?
Really.
Really? Really?
Didn't I tell you?
I don't know, did you?
The entire case is a state secret. No matter how many times you ask, I won't tell you anything.
God, what does Tsushima have on these people? Alright. Suppose we should talk about the big blue translucent elephant in the room at some point. Boop.
Help me understand this.
Explain it to me so that I might be shocked alongside the rest of the court.
What I saw during the sink earlier, that was the scene of the original Cyclops serial killings, right?
Yeah.
So the person doing the killing was the original Cyclops killer.
That does seem logical.
Right.
Did you see him?
Date, that catches on very quickly. For once.
He was
wearing my drip.
I saw your face.
Seriously, that jacket must be so expensive. Why would you get bloodstains on it? That's so irresponsible. Do you have any idea how hard it is to wipe bloodstains out of cloth? The answer is very hard.
The original Cyclops killer was...
Alright, nice of you to spontaneously decide to start being affected by this, I guess. It's a bit late, but better than nothing.
It can't be. That's impossible.
Date, you cannot say that for certain. You have no memories past 6 years ago.
God has redeemed another head, Pat. Why is this the only
Perhaps,
thing any
Mr.
of you
Dante,
redeem?
You are the killer.
You know how badly it hurts me. Am I gonna stream if I go blind, huh? Huh? It's funny, agree to disagree.
You're missing your left eye. So you steal them from others.
Don't have an explanation how Date lost his eye either. That's certainly concerning. Fine, I'll redeem other things. Alright, everybody strap in, there's a bunch of noise about to get played. Boss just sultrily flips back her. And where do the kaiju fit into this case? Me. Me indeed. And I look at her, and she looks at me. And I look at her, and she looks at me. And I look at her, and she looks at me.
You can't be the Cyclops killer.
Okay, good to know.
Really?
Of course not.
Really?
Do you think I would hire a serial killer? You interrogated Iris before the sink. What you saw in the Somnium was just a manifestation of the fear you put in her.
That sounds like even more of a cop-out than any of the theories I've already rejected. Alright. Time for the exposition dump. None is redeemed to hydrate. And a stretch, thank you very much. Alright. Listen to this exposition dump while I get all that out of the way. Enjoy. I didn't learn anything from speaking with Boss Pewter. God. Peter shook me for my thoughts, whatever he just said.
Dante, it looks like Iris is about to wake up.
Oh god, my slide. Headed for the sink room. Oh god. I could. Alright. Means he almost made me spit out my drink.
Hey, Iris. About that dream earlier.
I mean, I guess turnabout is fair play. Water Girl was funny, I'm sorry. I mean, mission accomplished, I guess?
Dream? What dream?
There is no point in asking her, Date.
Date, we go over this literally every sync. My god, man, get your shit together.
The subject of a sync does not experience somnium in the way that you do. They will not remember it.
And what about the Cyclops killer from 6 years ago?
Cyclops killer? I remember hearing it on the news. But I was just a little girl. I don't remember anything specific.
You don't?
You don't.
No.
What about the scene of the murder?
I don't know.
Never trust a VTuber, children. They're all very experienced in lying.
I've never been there.
But...
Dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones.
Oh god, are we in the middle of a filler episode? They're doing that flashback to a thing that happened 15 minutes ago scene. God, I hate the pacing in anime.
You can't dream of something you know nothing about.
Thank you, Iva. Very cool. I just want to reach, like, through her gelatinous membrane and pull that little eyeball out. Why is it yellow? Why is it shaped like you could stab someone with it? Why is it shaped like a throwing star? That seems just unnecessary.
Date, could you take Iris home?
I don't know, could I?
Huh?
I probably could if I wanted to.
We do not have enough evidence to hold her.
No need to look so smug about it. Me too, now I'm scared. Don't be, it's just a video game, it can't hurt you.
Even in Somnium, we couldn't find anything.
I mean, we found quite a bit, it's just not anything that makes sense. Which, I know I keep harping on this point, but is kind of what we should maybe expect from a machine that lets us look at people's dreams. You know, stick your hand in my gelatinous membrane and pull out my eyeball? Please, I like my eyes. I like your eyes too. Like in the sense that they go well with your face. I don't want to, like, pop them out and keep them on a keychain or anything. That would be weird.
The law demands that we release her.
Right, because you care about that now, huh? Didn't matter any when I was going to deal with Sejima, though. Traitors. Honestly. Alright, get took.
You cannot decline, Date.
Such is the perils of being a working man. don't know, Nana. I don't know. Gas, gonna step on the gas. Okay, I got it in. The running gag has been established.
Latte, could we make a stop first?
I mean, we're kind of in the middle of the infinite, like, straight freeway to hell. I don't know if there's really any way to get off.
Sure. Where?
Marble. It's a bar in Golden Yokocho.
Aren't you underage? What do you know about bars in Golden Yokocho? Isn't it right in Tokyo?
Know about that place?
That's what I said.
Yeah, Mr. Okiura took me before.
Why do you want to go there?
There's something I want to talk about.
We can't talk here?
It might take a while.
Isn't the drinking age 18 in Japan, or am I stupid? I think it might be, I don't know. Either way, like, being able to drink and being able to go bar hopping, especially if you're, like, technically an idol, very different circumstances. Seeing as how Iris is corporate, I'm pretty sure ASET counts as an idol and not just a YouTuber.
What do you think?
Date, he never thinks.
There's no reason to refuse.
I mean, I can think of a few.
Besides, there's a lot I want to ask her, too. Alright, sure.
Iris nodded and pulled out her phone. She's sending a Nile message to someone? I was curious, but I didn't want to pry. I turned the wheel and drove to Marble, straight off the side of the bridge. Date, don't... She might jump us! And not in the way that Ota wants! Date, no! You fool! Do you like my truck car chat? Do you? I'm very curious. 9:40 on a Sunday. If ever there's a time to go to a bar, this is it. When we walked in, I didn't see Mama anywhere. That's upsetting. To my surprise, I saw Ota sitting at the counter.
Tessa!
Oh, Ota!
Don't look at me like that. Of all the bars and all the cities in the world, he had to walk into mine.
I was nihiling with Tessa earlier. She said she was going to Marbles, so... I got here just before you did. Look, I was really worried about her.
Alright, in this timeline he hasn't tried to kill us yet, so I guess we can not be super aggro with him right out of the starting gate.
She was about to be charged with a serious crime.
Mama.
Oh, she left a little while ago.
Didn't mean to
She
make
said
you
something
cry.
about going to help an acquaintance. She told me to watch the place until she got back.
How well do you know Mama?
Not at all.
And yet she trusted you. Based entirely off of first impressions.
It's my first time here.
I trust that completely. I wasn't particularly surprised. Mama's always depended on the kindness of strangers ever since she opened Marble.
No, this is my new one. You're thinking of the one I dropped in that puddle.
Alright. Tell me a little bit about that thing.
This actually works out nicely. I want to ask you something, Ota.
You know, that thing. The thing, you know, that thing.
It's about a Nile message you sent Iris. You said you wouldn't tell anyone about that thing.
We already know what that thing is, unless Oda was lying to us earlier.
That you'd stay quiet no matter what. What were you talking about?
Well,
I'll tell her about the two-witter thing. I swear I'll do it.
Geez, fine. Just don't tell anyone else, okay?
Imagine being threatened by your own tweets. Just gonna walk up to a guy and go like, yeah, I want him cancelled. I want his entire family cancelled. I want his goddamn dog cancelled. I want this boy's account sleeping in the fishes with a pair of concrete tap dancing shoes. See? Yeah. Yeah.
But before I tell you, who's that?
What?
Dante, I swear to God if you fall for
The
this.
door. Someone's standing outside.
Dante, you gullible moron. Can't believe that is fucking dead. Dante, you fucking idiot. I can't say I'm that surprised. Alright, on today's episode of the How the Hell Can We Catch Iris arc. The next morning. When I woke up, I was lying on the sofa.
Where am I?
My head was killing me, and my memory was foggy. Felt a sudden pain in my neck. What a coincidence, Dante, I get one of those every time you start narrating like this. I shut up, rubbing my neck. When I looked over the counter, I saw a monster staring back at me. Took me a few seconds before I realized it was just Mama.
It looks like you're awake now.
As Mama spoke to me, it all came rushing back. I remembered everything. Even the bits I wasn't there for. Even which cushion I let the remote fall between. Even where I left my car keys. Wah, wah. Painting of St. Sebastian. Specials written on the chalkboard. Poster on the wall. Nothing doing here. Mama, how have you been?
It'll be 3 o'clock soon. In the morning, of course.
Oh boy, 3 a.m. Anyway, can you tell me where Oda went?
Ota, the boy I asked to watch the bar?
He knows Kung Fu. Truly, he is a terrifying opponent. Surprising we were unable to defeat him.
I'd say he's too old to be called a boy, but yeah.
He was already gone when I came back. All I saw was you getting your beauty sleep on the floor.
Damn it, Ota. What are you thinking?
It appears that he took off with Iris.
Oda, we've been over this already.
What were you doing during all this?
My power was shut down due to the stun gun.
How do you even get a stun gun in Japanese? Are these still I've seen a bunch of old 90s J-dramas that talked about stun guns like they were really strictly controlled and you had to go overseas to get them. Does that still apply? Where the hell is Oda getting these things?
I have rebooted in safe mode and am now operational.
You don't care to tell me why you're just letting me sleep on the floor until my neck tenses up? That's incredibly rude. Do you have any idea how bad it feels sleeping poorly?
I tried. You wouldn't budge. I thought you were passed out drunk, so I left you like that.
But I didn't have a glass in front of me, right?
So you weren't drunk?
Wake up!
Didn't have a single drop.
Oh, I thought you were drinking straight out of the bottle.
You know, Dante doesn't seem like the type. I mean, he doesn't not seem like the type either, let's be fair.
Just like the old days.
I'm not sure what kind of drinker Dante really strikes me as. To be completely honest with ourselves.
Date, the boss is calling.
Took it long enough.
Oh, how am I gonna report this one?
This is 3 timelines now where Date's gotten his ass kicked by a particularly unimpressive NEET. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
Date, listen. Stay calm, but this is an emergency.
Date, don't panic, but I'm about to tell you something you should absolutely panic over.
Just now, the killer... Well, just watch the video.
I guess that taser put us down a bit longer this time. I've got a, very bad feeling about all this.
I sent the address to Iba.
Iris!
And... that's not good.
The criminal is streaming this live.
Iba, the source.
Identified.
That was easy. Man, Iba is super OP.
The Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse, Koto District.
Okiura?
Date, focus.
I mean, it is a reasonable question, my man.
We need to get to the site, now.
Guess this part isn't up again. I mean, the culprit appears to have a plan. I'm not sure if, like, the specific, you know, putting a guy in a saw, or putting Iris in a saw, Iris in a guy last I checked, is necessarily part of it. I mean, obviously it's part of it. What it matters, I should say. Faked mama and ran out of marble. Alright. To the warehouse districts. Man, first it's the site of every battle the Power Rangers take part in, and now this. The place just cannot catch a break.
What's our ETA?
Our destination is far from here. 20 minutes at the fastest.
I don't know if we have that much time.
Please, please let me make it in time. That sick bastard.
The polar bears are an endangered species and they're here for revenge. Get out of this time. Okay, he's... That's him.
Ota.
Alright, problem solved. Put up your dukes. I'll harm you. I'll harm you. I kept my foot to the gas the whole time, because that's generally how cars work. Alright. So, evidentially speaking, I'm not really sure what we can expect this to change. I could feel the sweat on my palms. Not doing it too easy. The engine raised a high-pitched scream, but I could barely hear it. My heartbeat was pounding in my ears, shaking me to the core. How much time had passed? The feeling of time itself had disappeared. Eventually, the car reached a long bridge. Shortly after, the image changed. Date, have you just been watching this thing the whole time? That doesn't seem like safe driving. Oh my.
No, it can't be.
Da bear.
Stop!
Well, that's going to be very difficult to clean up. At least it was properly censored. Don't worry, we get to keep our rating. Perfectly friendly series. Tell your friends, tell your children. Let your children play it. Yeah, Date, that is pretty cringe.
No!
No. You know, somehow I don't think this is the path to the good ending. Alright, what's the over-under and the odds we're gonna find Ota dead in here when we arrive? Nice drifts. Well, that's the most obvious setup I do believe I've ever seen in all my days. Chunky. Yep. Alright, who is even left as a suspect at this point? Should we be talking in terms of a suspect? We still have that thing with the eye from last stream to deal with. So many parts in this case, and I don't know how they all fit together.
There you are. Finally. I was looking all over for you.
This is him. You're
It's
probably wondering
rare
how he
to see
got
it
into
down
this
like this.
situation.
But it's understandable. You blame yourself for this, don't you? Beating yourself up about taking Iris to Marble.
That you get tased by a man-child.
And about letting Ota get the upper hand on you.
Okay, that part is objectively his fault. Like, I still can't believe that.
Am I right?
How do we have third-person video of ourselves?
Shall I tell you what Investigation HQ thinks?
Probably something incredibly stupid.
Ota Matsushita is a criminal stalker who committed murder-suicide.
Yep.
Ota had a selfish love for Iris. He was under the delusion that Iris loved him too. But Iris refused Ota. So Ota decided that he and Iris should be together in the afterlife, killed her, then killed himself.
And Renju and Shoko? And... copying the MO of the Cyclops killer? And... using Renju's car? Renju's car is another thing. He's blue. Dabba dee dabba da.
That's ridiculous. Ota would never kill Iris. And how do you explain the other two murders? Iris's left eye was hollowed out. Just like Renju and Shoko.
I know, I was there at
Those
the
three
time.
murders were definitely executed by the same person. The new Cyclops killer. There's no way that's Ota. Too many pieces don't fit. Too many contradictions, like killing Iris.
Such as?
I mean, he's got a point. Or she's got a point. Does anyone here have a point?
Maybe he was thinking like this.
Alright, time to stress test our theory.
The reason Iris and I can't be together is because her agency prohibits it. Making the president, Renju, the ultimate bad guy in his mind.
He does look an awful lot like Light Yagami.
Mizuki is Ota's close friend. Do you really think Ota would kill his friend's father?
And Shoko is even less involved.
Shoko was married to Renju. Maybe he was trying to get at Renju by killing her.
That's a stretch. They've been divorced for years.
Now, you ever get that feeling of deja vu, the feeling that you're re-experiencing something you've experienced before? That's probably nothing.
Ota knows all about it. He wouldn't use Shoko to get to Renju.
Alright. Please tell me you realize how easy it would be to put a corpse in a costume.
The culprit was wearing a polar bear costume, probably to hide their identity. But if murder-suicide was the plan, the costume served no purpose.
Alright, you're folding over pretty clearly. I'm getting the impression you don't actually believe anything you're saying right now. Typical politician.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota showed himself on the stream. If he was gonna kill Iris and then himself, why would he do that? The only reason you would show yourself like that is to prove that you weren't the culprit. Ota and the polar bear on the screen at the same time would prove that they're not the same person. That behavior would be totally unnecessary if he was gonna commit suicide anyway.
Well, maybe he wasn't planning on dying at first.
Maybe he just impulsively chose to saw himself in half with an ice-cutting machine.
After he killed Iris, he realized that he couldn't live with himself.
So he lies down on the workbench and turns on the ice-cutting machine himself? I don't buy it.
There are some additional discrepancies.
It is probably worthy of mention that Ota doesn't appear to have had his left eye removed. A violation of an MO, given that the culprit had enough time that he could have done it if he wanted to. Certainly telling.
I analyzed the investigation report. Judging by his wound, Ota was stabbed in the side by a kitchen knife or something similar.
So things went very similarly to the timeline where we show up in time.
Are you sure?
I am.
I told the boss what I found.
Oh, I know that.
Maybe someone else is the murderer of Iris, but when Oda found Iris did kill himself, you should have written that a bit quicker, Nana. I think we've already disproven that.
Well,
Ota could have stabbed himself.
Okay, come on.
Maybe he thought it would be a fatal wound, but when it didn't work, he went for the ice cutting machine.
Yes, he tried the first way first, but when it didn't work, he went for something even slower and messier. The perfect crime.
then shouldn't we have recovered the kitchen knife from the scene?
Maybe he threw it in the ocean.
Boss, come on. Ota goes out to the water, stabs himself in the gut, throws the knife over the side, then walks back to the warehouse?
Boss, I don't appreciate the tone you're taking with me right now.
Well, I wasn't being serious.
Clearly.
I didn't think Ota was the culprit from the beginning. I was just playing devil's advocate for HQ.
Really?
Yes, really.
I don't think anyone here really buys that.
Anyway, Ota didn't kill anyone, and he didn't kill himself. Here's what I think happened.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota knew Iris was kidnapped, so he rushed onto the scene. That's when he saw the culprit wearing the polar bear costume.
Seriously, that thing must be so expensive.
He tried to fight him off, but ended up being stabbed in the side.
You know, while you're focusing on the hook, we don't know about that bit yet. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't pass up an excuse to watch it again. I'm just saying.
He was weakened and losing blood at the culprit's mercy. The culprit forced him into the costume, then under the ice cutting machine. And then...
And then...
Then, who is the culprit?
Well, we're running out of named characters. There's Iris's mother, Sejima, you and Pewter. Assuming being a first-person protagonist gives us an alibi, it's basically that and, like, Kagami.
I wish I knew.
Starlight, Starbright, if wishes were horses, and other such overused cliches.
We're up to 4 victims. But Ota was a special circumstance. He wasn't specifically targeted by the culprit.
We got one more victim, our culprit will have beaten their predecessor.
Right. And he was the only one to not have his eye pulled out.
So let's focus on the 3 other victims. Shoko, Renju, and Iris.
What is the connection there, I wonder?
What connects these 3?
That's what I said.
Connections.
If you find a connection between the victims, you find a connection to the culprit. That's the theory of investigation, right?
You think the new Cyclops killer is related to them somehow?
Maybe, maybe not. But it's a good starting point.
Alright. He told me, of the 4 people listed here, he told me is the most suspicious, but...
Hitomi and Renju are definitely linked. They were high school classmates. And she did say that she met Shoko twice. But I can't imagine she would kill Iris in such a gruesome way.
I mean... I feel like I've been over this already, but like, are we really looking for a logical motive for an eye-gouging serial killer? Like, the fact that the first 2 victims were exes is suspicious, but...
No matter what the circumstances were, it seems impossible to me.
Alright, let's just go over the list.
Mayumi had motive for killing Iris and Renju. Mayumi hated Iris, and she didn't think well of Lemniscate either. And since Renju is the president...
Can't believe Yaga was fucking dead, guys.
Anyway, the weak point is Renju's ex-wife, Shoko. I can't imagine why Mayumi would kill her. And above all else, she would never harm her only son, let alone kill him.
Have you even spoken in this timeline? You seem very confident of that. Alright, do we think Mizuki, the 12-year-old, is the culprit? I'm sure she could have.
Mizuki has the strongest connections with all three victims. Shoko and Renju were her parents, and she was close friends with Iris. She was good friends with Ota too. But that's why I could never believe Mizuki would kill all four of them. Thinking of her as a suspect is ridiculous.
I mean, for, you know, a few reasons. Mama Kumakura has an alibi for at least one of these culprits, and more importantly, is barely a character. Like, be honest, how many of you even remember who this guy is? Come on, be honest. Be honest, I won't judge you.
Renju and Shoko were connected to the Kumakuras. But there's no connection to Iris.
Alright. For the third time in a row now, everything has led back to Congressman Sejima. He's the Yakuza guy. Yeah, he's the Yakuza guy.
Renju, Shoko, and So. There is a connection between Renju and Shoko through the Kumakuras. But again, I can't see any clear link to Iris.
We're back in the timeline where we didn't see... Well, I'm not back in the timeline. We're in the timeline where we didn't see him and her Somnium, so there's no connection anymore. Maybe I'm the culprit the whole time! Oh wow, what a unique twist that's never been done in any mystery game before.
I know Renju and Shoko.
Certainly not one with some sort of high-concept bullshit solution. Sci-fi,
I'm
non-dinner.
connected to Iris.
I mean, I was not until after these murders started taking place, let's not forget that.
But I have an alibi. Aside from Shoko, there's no way I could have killed any of them. No, now that I think about it, Shoko too. I don't remember killing her. My memories from 6 years ago are missing, but I still have my memory of recent events.
Well, I'm glad we put that horse to bed. Is that a thing people say? I just kind of said that. No, even I'm not sure what I'm going on about at this point.
And if I start doubting myself now...
You have to believe in yourself, Date. Believe.
Date, I can say without a doubt that there is zero possibility you are the new Cyclops killer.
And if he is the killer, though, I mean, how, Nana? You would have to explain so much.
I have been working with you for years. I know better than anyone that you are innocent.
Maybe the meds he takes make him act like his past self, and then it's split personalities. I mean, you'd still have to address the multiple alibis they just mentioned. This doesn't seem like the sort of case that's going to involve a lot of complicated alibi tricks. Turn off Aiba. What about... Good night, Aiba. Well, first off, given what we saw earlier, I'm pretty sure Aiba would know if she were turned off. Secondly, our alibi involved our investigations, so we were talking to other people, like, from Shoko onward, pretty much non-stop. Like, there were actual external witnesses to this.
Of the people I know, I can't peg any of them as the murderer.
Yeah, Date can't peg. Now we know.
And no leads to pursue?
You know, I didn't want to say anything without a lot of evidence. I was thinking earlier, Boss has been acting very suspicious ever since we found Ota's body.
No.
Then there's only one thing you can do.
See, look at that face. Look at that face and tell me that's not the face of a murderer.
Continue your investigation. Do whatever it takes to get the culprit. To get justice for the victims.
You're right. Got it, boss.
Boss.
Mierder!
Murder indeed. Alright, I guess we'll start at the crime scene and work our way out. That didn't do it. Alright, great. Great, cool. Love that. I stepped into the cold storage warehouse. The air conditioning wasn't running, but it was still cold. Temperature hadn't raised much at all. The cold air sunk into my skin. But the scent of my body was burning hot. It was too cold on one side and too hot on the other, like fire and ice. Ran my hands through my salt and pepper beard.
No, nothing so far.
Inspector is doing his duties as usual. Can I not? Don't I get to ask? But alright. I miss our little bits, Kagami. Is this Ota's blood? I hope this is not Chris's blood.
Right here. Iris and Ota were.
I am sure you are already aware of Ota's time of death.
To a second.
Just before I arrived. About 3:30 in the morning.
Who would murder an otaku at 3 in the morning? Oh boy, 3 a.m.
And the cause of death.
I shouldn't be making fun of this. This is actually very tragic. Ota looks kind of ugly when dead. When dead, Nana? As opposed to the rest of the times?
Right, about that. Ota had a stab wound from a kitchen knife in his side.
Correct.
What was the exact cause of death? Was it the knife wound, or...?
I cannot determine that. I can conclude that the knife wound was at least close to being fatal. Even if Ota was still alive on the workbench, he was certainly on the verge of death.
Does that mean the culprit got him better than last time? I mean, that must have happened. Considering.
If he weren't already extremely weak, we would expect to see more signs of struggle.
Maybe Ota was trying to help Iris, jumping at the criminal. It led to a scuffle, and Ota ended up with a knife wound in his side. He lost all his power to fight back. He was forcibly put inside the costume, then finally cut open by the ice-cutting machine.
But why?
But why?
Why did the culprit put the costume on Ota?
Unknown.
I mean, you'd think it was to frame him as the culprit, but he was real sloppy if that was the case. Iris and Ota's bodies are under autopsy. You know, I was saying this like all the way back since first playthrough, first ending. If we assumed the culprit of each case was the victim of the next, then, like, it would make sense if the culprit was just sloppy. Problem is that, you know, that don't make sense. It don't make sense for serial killers to be their own victims, you know? I didn't want to say anything about this because I know you and I have never played 999. But if you'll allow me to speak vaguely, the solutions to all three Zero Escape games and also the Infinity Quadrilogy, Kojiro Uchikoshi's big long-term project before that, all had sci-fi elements involved in their solutions. I didn't want to theorize ahead of my data, but considering all the evidence appears to be pointing in one direction, I don't think it's safe to assume we can just... Sorry, what if I missed? I was making a clip. I was just talking. Date was saying that he didn't understand why the culprit shoved out his corpse in the bear costume. And I was saying, well, wasn't it probably to frame him for being the culprit and like a murder-suicide like Boss theorized? But given that the knife was missing, that's an incredibly sloppy theory. Then I got to talking about how I've been theorizing since first, ending, that all of the suspects we've been investigating seemed to have been really sloppy culprits of what we were looking at. Then they turned up dead. Then someone else got suspected of sloppily killing them. And from there I got to talking about, you know, how little sense that makes in a vacuum. Then I started talking about Kotaro Uchikoshi's other games, the Zero Escape Trilogy and the Infinity Quadrilogy. And I'm being vague here. I know you want to play 999 at some point in the future, Nana. But all of Uchikoshi's previous mysteries have incorporated science fiction elements into their solutions in some way. So I was thinking it might not be safe, and given that all the evidence appears to be pointing in one direction, it's probably not safe to assume that there's nothing unnatural going on here. The only question is, what in God's name does it mean? It's like we don't really have any idea what the mechanics of all this could be. I'm missing a major piece. I feel like I'm starting to grasp the outline of all this. I've noticed his body's been taken away for autopsy. Their bodies aren't here anymore. Bench is very busy. Right here. Iris and Ota were... My god, would you look at all that tomato juice? Someone dropped their spaghetti. Iris and Ota's blood. I hope this is not Chris's blood. Iris and Ota were sliced in two by this ice-cutting machine. And I can only ask why. Iris and Ota...
Iris's estimated time of death and cause of death have been confirmed.
I mean, I'm not sure if there was that much question to begin with. Look at it, it just looks like pesto sauce, I'm sorry. Chest. Not like that, not like that. Chat, I'm thinking. I mentioned earlier, like earlier in a previous video, that game was the first time I'd ever heard of a like, media thing doing its own VTuber as a promotional stunt for advertising their game? Well, this, you know, Iris gets kidnapped by the polar bear arc was a major aspect of, you know, that orgy. And I didn't get this game because I mentioned, you know, reading some not super great reviews from the Mystery Spear, but I did follow the ARG while it was still ongoing. And I really distinctly remember when we saw Iris get put under the saw in the ARG, her chest was still moving so you could see she was breathing. But look closely here. Look closely here. We don't see that in this segment. Did I just say segment or this segment? Her chest is motionless. I don't know what we make of that.
The video was not a recording. It was a live stream, filmed in real time.
The hell's a live stream?
Which means Iris's time of death is 3:20 a.m.
If only the culprit had waited another hour. They said the cause of death was confirmed, so that would... Given that they didn't follow on that, I assume that means she was killed by being sawed in half. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. It's weird. It's weird that they would, you know, put more effort into an ARG than in the actual game, but what do I know? Maybe it's an engine limitation. Are we even sure that Iris is actually dead? Did we find the body? Date mentioned earlier that her body was taken away for autopsy. Also, we did kind of, you know, see her die on a live stream. It's kind of difficult to overturn, I imagine. I can imagine ways it could be done with other causes of death, but we saw that saw. And then we saw her insides.
Iris also had her left eye removed.
Okay, because I'm watching the live stream, I think it might have been a fake body or like a stunt. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, like literally just now, but... It was all bloody, so it was hard to tell. I mean, I guess it's not impossible if they used perspective trickery. But again, if they have a body and they have a cause of death for said body...
Yeah.
And like Renju and Shoko, Iris's left eyeball has not been recovered.
I wonder if someone swallowed that one too. An ice cutting machine. Nobody tried to kill anybody with a forklift in this run. It's too bad.
This forklift is old.
Did someone dressed up her like, I don't know, Hitomi? I don't think it was Hitomi. I don't think they make binders that powerful.
It does not appear to be functional.
They're related, so I mean if they wore a wig and
It has not been
contacts...
moved in some time.
I don't buy it, I'm sorry. Forklift, the tire, and the floor covered with a layer of ice.
A video camera and laptop.
Yes, they are, thank you. Never would have been able to figure that on my own.
This is what the criminal used to stream.
Man, I thought I had a budget set up. Wait, no, her chest is moving. Chest is moving in this video. That just makes me even more curious.
All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. It would be difficult to determine a suspect from them.
Imagine if that laptop didn't have enough charge and it died in the middle of the stream. Imagine if they just had an internet outage and he suddenly started red squaring on OBS. Imagine if that happened. Oh, that would be miserable. Hababa. Hababa. Hababa.
I have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse.
Ironically, the Wi-Fi password is Polar Bear, but like the O in Polar is a 0 and the L is a 1. The R is a 3 for some reason, even though that doesn't really look all that similar.
Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it.
Nice and secure.
I have done some research.
That's nice.
As the name suggests, the company is owned by the Okiuras, the same Okiuras we know.
The New Brunswick Okiuras.
Renju's father created the company.
Another connection to Renju.
This is the same exposition
No,
dump we
actually.
got last
Okiura
playthrough.
Fishery has nothing to do with Renju. The company has been managed by office representatives for the past 17 years after Renju's father died.
Why does the ice storage need Wi-Fi? Nana, where would you not need Wi-Fi in this day and
Renju holds
age?
no shares and is not involved in the management.
What, you want to stop people from playing Candy Crush on their breaks? My god, I thought I was a taskmaster.
In short, Renju did not inherit the company from his father, and it was instead given to other persons.
Yep, so we've heard.
But it can't be a coincidence.
It certainly is suspicious.
Just use your cell data and spend money on company time? I'm ashamed of you, Cosmic Nana. What in God's name?
Date, we should get moving.
Now we're done
Officers
here.
from the local jurisdiction are checking the warehouse thoroughly. We will not find anything of importance here.
I don't have unlimited data. Pathetic. I have strictly limited data. No, I'm pretty sure I do have unlimited data, actually, but what about people who don't? Some people are just poor, Nana. Some people are just poor.
Yeah, you're right.
You can ask CSI to inform you if they find anything.
I don't want to talk to the CSIs, though. They'll think they're better than me because they're the ones with the TVA show. And they keep... Every time I talk to them, they keep saying god-awful puns about the bodies. Looks like Oda had a split personality. That doesn't even make sense as a joke! He didn't! He object... Hate that guy. Why do we still keep paying him? He's not even good at being an actual investigator. So mad about that. Yeah, video live. There's the... Okay, whatever. Can we go now? It's... You know, anything for me, good man.
I checked this place point by point, but didn't find nothing.
Good for you. Let me know if you find anything. Does the chocolate not exist in this timeline? No, it does not. We got attacked outside of the Matsushita household, which means Mayumi did not see Ota leave, which means she did not follow him to the warehouse, which means she did not drop the chocolate. It all checks logically. Let them know if you find anything, I'll let them know, then left the warehouse. You're right. When you're right, and I am usually right. And then we went outside. Oh god, the light, it burns! When I left the warehouse, I saw a pewter. Surprised the man didn't spontaneously burst into flames as soon as he went outside. Hasty asshole motherfucker. What's he doing here? What are you doing here? He walked up to me while I was trying to work it out.
Date, I have to talk to you about something.
Huh?
About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Well, this is very quick.
Why this all of a sudden?
I only just now noticed that he has a color-coordinated pen in his pocket protector. Can't say the man isn't committed to his bit.
Because I want you to solve this case, Mr. Date. I want you to find who did this and bring them to justice. So, if I can help you, even a little.
This is coming really abruptly, but I'm not all that suspicious of him.
Why didn't you say anything at Abyss?
The boss was there.
That makes sense.
I couldn't speak openly in front of her.
Now, if we're very, very lucky, Aiba will not be programmed to betray us to the boss as soon as we learn anything.
So, I decided to meet you here.
Hey, good talk.
All right.
I like your funny words, Magic Man.
Let's hear it.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Earlier, I told you that I was completely certain the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes.
Right, but you didn't tell us why. And that is concerning. What have we left to learn?
Oh my god! This is an non sequitur!
I mean, maybe? Maybe, is it? I mean, if he's not entirely telling the truth about not knowing or having reason to believe that the culprit is in fact not the original Cyclops serial killer. Oh, it's sorry, my brain's moving at a mile a minute right now.
I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes.
Yep, that's what the man said. He said that. I know, I was there at the time.
Let me explain why.
Alright. Tell me everything. Excited to see what he says. Dope. Based super lit.
I'll start by telling you the identity of the Cyclops killer.
Man, this was easy.
Although, it's more accurate to say killers.
Okay, that does line up with what I was about to say deduced, but saw is more likely.
More than one?
But yeah, this is how you solve mysteries, right? You just wait for someone to just come up and tell you the answer. It's a good detective game.
In the first series of killings, the culprit had an accomplice. One of them was born a murderous psychopath. The other is Rohan Kumakura, the previous chairman of the Kumakuras.
Can we make a bet? Ooh, don't make that face, Date. This is important.
They each had a role to play. The murderer committed the homicide, and Rohan removed the eyeball.
Does that really take a second person? Maybe the killer was Date. You said that earlier. Would that make Date the one who was born as a murderous psychopath, or Because he's So's son who worked with the Kumakuras, that is a connection. I mean, we could always just go straight for the
He was born with
jugular.
brain dysfunction.
Wow, he's just like me, for real.
Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Gesundheit.
Oxytocin is a peptide hormone linked to feelings of love, affection, and trust.
Wow. Man, if I had that disorder, I don't know if I'd ever even
It is
notice.
colloquially referred to as the love hormone.
The love hormone has been traveling through people's bloodstreams for 800 slutty years. I'm sorry. Man, that was terrible. Damn, he never felt happy. Man, he is just like me, for real, for real.
It causes a tranquilizing effect which improves mood and relieves stress. It is normally secreted when the body makes contact with an object of affection, such as an embrace or caress.
I'm sure you know what this implies, but he was unable to feel love in the way that we do.
We could never answer the question, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Nope. Mirada a can end? Is that some sort of... Scotty, that's what the pills are for. Or oxytocin pills. That would make more sense than any alternative I can offer up, Nana. That's why he's horny after he takes them. I want it to not work like that. I don't really know enough about the hormonal bits. Say for certain. It would make me happy if it didn't work like that.
However, he was able to experience a substitute. His brain was wired in such a way that allowed him to feel satisfaction through other means.
Miss Gray, my tastes are very unconventional.
Due to the unique idiosyncrasies of his brain, he was able to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins
Why the hell would his brain release a bunch of dolphins?
by performing a certain action.
What was it?
Murder.
Dun dun dun. Dun.
Dopamine is a hormone linked to the reward system of the brain.
That's why most of us don't get it anymore.
The pleasant feeling attained through accomplishment is dopamine. Endorphins are a kind of brain narcotic.
They're like cocaine for your brain. Opposed to regular cocaine, which only affects the fingers and toes. Little known fact.
They dull pain and create a feeling of happiness.
He got pleasure from killing people?
It's slightly more complicated than that. Killing people was the only way he could get pleasure. He was 12 when he took his first life.
Okay, maybe Mizuki isn't not a suspect. Pretty sure she isn't, though we've been in her brain.
That enlightened him to the pleasure of murder, which he would do again and again.
Alright, I was kind of asking more in the sense of who was he, but you know.
18 years ago, Rohan took a woman's eye.
Did he like keep it in a jar on the corner of his desk or something?
She was already dead. He put his finger into her eye socket and gouged it out.
Surprisingly easy.
The reason why was simple.
Alright, don't look at me like that. You think you can cheat at stare contests like this? I'll have you know I'm undefeated.
He was fascinated by women's eyes. Their beauty stimulated his greed and his desire to possess them. He needed to have them, to make them his own.
Alright. We're kink, but okay. Okay, no, don't kink shame. We all have our focuses.
Driven by this instinctive impulse, he took the woman's eye. From then on, he acquired a grotesque obsession with the eyes of dead women.
This is the sort of stable businessman you want running your organization. So easy to see why he was replaced.
He was very particular about his need that the eye belonged to a deceased woman. But even being the head of a Yakuza gang, there weren't too many opportunities for him to indulge. His deepest, darkest desire went unfulfilled for years.
I mean, the only Yakuza he had access to was Kiryu, and as we all know, Kazuma Kiryu has never killed a person in his life.
However, he soon met his ideal partner. The aforementioned psychopath.
He's a psychopath.
The Cyclops killer would commit the murder, and Rohan would take the eye. Thus, a mutually beneficial relationship was established. This was the origin of the Cyclops serial killings.
Everybody got that?
At about the same time, you were assigned to Abyss.
Alright. And who pulled the strings to get the case classified like we don't already know?
I don't know.
Well, that makes one of us.
The details of the original Cyclops serial killings case have become nebulous over time. Even the official investigation material contains nothing of value. I am unable to draw any conclusions from them.
You really have no idea?
If I did, I would tell you.
Alright. Exposition, exposition, gotta read this shit again. Exposition, exposition, over and over and over again.
Rohan Kumakura.
Rohan committed suicide by jumping to his death 1 year ago.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, apparently.
That means...
What does that mean?
Pewter, tell me this. One of the original killers is dead, I know that. That means one remains. Who is he?
After his fourth murder, he was arrested by the police. They actually picked him up on other charges.
Ain't that always the way?
But, in any case, he is currently serving a life sentence in Fuchu prison.
Fuchu prison?
Yeah. Precariously close to being an incredibly rude name.
Yes.
What's his name?
His name's... Huh? That's a very unusual name.
In prison, he doesn't have a name. He is simply called Number 89.
Number 89?
I know who killed Shogun Adami.
Interesting and yet more interesting.
So, now you know why I said that. That the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. Because one is dead, and the other is behind bars.
Can't believe only 89 people have been arrested in the entire history of Japan up to this point. Funny, it feels like more than that.
Neither of them had the opportunity.
Pewter looks grimly serious. We could go somewhere else at this point. But considering we've all got a lot to chew on, I think I'm actually going to call the stream here for the night. Now that we're sure we've saved and we won't lose all our progress. Oh man, I mean, I wouldn't want to overwhelm you all. I gotta think on this now. Yeah, me too. I have. So, I think you might be onto something with Date being the original Cyclops killer. But if that's the case, who's number 89 and how do they know about the current cases? Who's the current culprit? How does Pewter know all this? Am I right that there's some sort of high-concept sci-fi bullshit involved? Why does Iris know anything? Gods, comets, stars, and hell's bells. I have a lot to think about. Hurts my brain. I get enough of this when I'm like actually on the clock. Why do I do this to myself? Anyway. We're going to be rating My Star Child, I've already decided. Maya is playing RimWorld. It is RimWorld night. That is perfectly in line with our usual scheduling. So, please make absolutely certain to be nice to Maya, because she is an angel in more sense than one. Try not to strain yourselves too hard, to take care of your... That shit I usually say at the end of any given stream. And I'll see all of you in the future. Bye-bye.